Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. John Deaton here posting this on Twitter. Regular people have no idea what a staggering number this is. When I was a kid, the government used to talk about spending in the millions, i.e., this project would cost $150 million, just as one example. In my 20s and 30s, he says, spending was discussed in the billions, i.e., this project costs $30 billion. And now, guys, they're talking about interest payments in the trillions. So to put things into perspective, I know sometimes, when we hear these numbers, it's just a number. Okay, for a lot of us, it's just a number and it really doesn't mean much. But to put things into perspective, today everything is discussed in trillions, continues John Deaton. He says all-in money printing totaled $13 trillion, 5.2 for the beer flu and 4.5 for quantitative easing plus 3 for infrastructure. And so to put that into perspective, to place the trillion number in perspective for people, how many years does 1 trillion seconds make? 31,709 years. Yes, that is 1 trillion seconds. So it is significantly bigger than a billion. Of course, multitudes grander than a million. If you stacked $100 bills totaling $1 trillion on top of each other, the stack would be 631 miles high. So the interest payments of the U.S. debt alone equals $1 trillion in a year. The U.S. is broke, and the only solution is to further print more money. Some would argue that that highlights Bitcoin's greatest use case. So, again, just going back to this theme that, the U.S. is in trouble. U.S. dollar dominance is waning too, so that is definitely not helping matters. If you guys didn't catch my video I did this morning, I do talk about the BRICS nations, Janet Yellen trying to put the minds of Americans at ease, and I talk about an onslaught of institutional XRP investors ramping up investments. Guys, if you didn't catch that video, I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. I'm finding that we're seeing a lot regarding this theme today. Anders here posting this too. There could be 15 retail and 9 wholesale CBDCs publicly circulating by 2030. So this just came out from the BIS. World on retail CBDC is more advanced on the wholesale CBDC. About a quarter of central banks are piloting a retail CBDC, and a new BIS survey suggests that there could be 15 retail and 9 wholesale CBDCs publicly circulating in 2030. And here are just some of the statistics here on some of these charts. Type of CBDC work by a country group. You guys can see with regards to retail CBDC, and they only outline 2021 and 2022. That's, I guess, the figures that they have so far. Research only, research, proof and concept, research, proof of concept and pilot. So also subdividing it as AEs and EMDEs. We've got the research, proof of concept, pilot, and working on a live CBDC. And then live CBDC has been issued. You can see we have not gotten there yet. That would be the red color, which is not even on the chart yet. The closest we're getting is the orange up here. Research, proof of concept, pilot, and working on a live CBDC. And so that is for retail. We also have it as wholesale over here. And you can see those numbers have shifted a little bit there. But can you imagine 15 retail and 9 wholesale CBDCs by the year 2030? Of course, the powers that be want to make sure their agenda is implemented by the year 2030. So anyway, I wanted to thank John Deaton and Anders here for posting that. Ian Binns here also mentioning this. Okay, Binance has been in a lot of hot water recently. We talked a little bit this morning about how USDT is depegging from the US dollar on Binance. Binance's XRP SHIB balances, though, hit impressive highs. So this has to do with Binance's proof of reserves and the update there. These figures show robust liquidity for both XRP and the SHIB token, among others. So here's what the author noticed. The implosion of the FTX derivatives exchange back in November last year opened a lot of crypto trading platforms to new realities, including Binance, one of the biggest. And this is when a lot of these crypto exchanges started focusing on their proof of reserves initiative. In a recent update to proof of reserves, Binance has published the latest update to some of its top token balances, including XRP and Shiba Inu. The updated POR is the 8th the firm will be publishing since the start of the transparency move after the fall of FTX. And it revealed, guys, the total XRP customer balance was about 2.5 billion XRP, with Binance net pegged at 2.69. So they hold just a little over how many XRP their users hold, respectively. So effectively, the XRP balance shows a ratio of about 103.92, an indication that the trading platform is liquid enough to fulfill any form of customer obligation. So that is positive news for people using Binance. The same goes for Shiba Inu, as the exchange's balance of the meme coin pegged at 79.1 billion far surpasses the customer balance of 77 billion. So that is exactly what we want to see here, and that's at 102.7% the ratio. The idea behind behind publishing proof of reserves, which Binance has been consistent with, is to prove that investors that come their way can be fully redeemed at any point in time. The fear of exchanges commingling customers' funds the way FTX did has sparked a growing embrace for self-custody and a move away from the exchanges. I mean, I've always been a proponent of self-custody. Again, guys, I do have an affiliate link for the Ledger Nano. You can use it if you want. You don't even have to use the Ledger. I know there has been some controversy surrounding Ledger. I personally find that it is still a great, robust product. I've never had a problem with them, been using them since 2017, and you're going to get fuddy news come and go all the time, so you can use that affiliate link. It's there if you guys want to use it. You don't even have to use it, but I do suggest if you are still holding your crypto on an exchange, especially if you have large amounts and you're not looking to trade immediately, I would suggest keep your crypto safe in a cold storage solution. But I mean, back to the Binance point here, there has been a big move away ever since FTX did collapse. I mean, lots of people lost lots of money, but Binance is showing, okay, look, we've got the reserves, you can trust us. So, this is happening in and amongst a very different kind of crypto spring. I guess we could call it crypto spring now. We're starting to see cryptos move like XRP forming that Nike swoosh pattern. As of the time of this recording, we're seeing XRP trading at about 47 cents, give or take. We got Bitcoin here. Bringing up Bitcoin real quickly, trading at, still trading at around 30,200 since the time of this recording. So, we've been seeing the market slowly move up. The exchanges are under a lot of pressure, especially in the US. They're trying to, abide by the laws, be good exchanges. And, this is just an example of how Binance is doing it. So I wanted to thank Ian for posting that. Since we're on the topic of Binance, I guess I should mention this as well. From Camus here on Twitter, quietly, Binance launches XRP options. XRP now joins the select BTC, ETH, and BNB group. Why XRP? Why now? So as you guys can see here, you can purchase XRP options, calls, and puts. So that's a different way to trade on XRP speculation, I guess. Some people down here, though, saying that it's been around for a while and that they didn't just announce it like Cowboy Crypto here. Thanks to XRP Prime. XRP was added to Binance options back in 2020, so this is nothing new. However, what is new about it is that Binance XRP USDT weekly options have changed a little bit here. So let me read you guys this update here. Please note, XRP to USDT weekly options are European-style option contracts. The weekly options contracts will be listed every Thursday at 8 a.m. UTC. For more information, you can contact Binance there. For those of you guys signed up, you can probably go to your account and click that link. Where any discrepancy arises between the translated versions and the original English version, the English version shall prevail. So for those of you guys interested in trading on Binance, if you have a Binance account looking to trade on spec XRP options, well, it in fact is an option for you. Wanted to thank Camus here and Cowboy Crypto for posting that. We've been also getting some interesting global finance news that does connect to Ripple and one of their CBDC projects in particular, guys. This one from the Wrath of Kahneman. The Asian Clearing Union is moving towards local settlement to reduce dependence on the US dollar. And again, guys, I did talk a little bit more about this morning. So if you didn't catch this morning's video, it was jam-packed with information about BRICS nations and de-dollarization. He goes on to say, more than the de-dollarization narrative, it's interesting to note the members, which would include Bhutan CBDC built with Ripple, and the use of the INR. Here it says Asian Clearing Union agrees to settle trade in local currencies. So all members of the Asian Clearing Union have agreed to move towards local currency settlement in a bid to reduce dependence on the US dollar. So this theme is prevailing, guys. All of the countries, or some of the countries rather, included in South Asia, as well as Myanmar and Iran, according to the representatives from the Central Bank of Myanmar, cited by Bloomberg, 9 central banks with ties to the union have agreed to settle trade in local currencies, including the Indian rupee. So they still have to pick a currency, and, I'm sure some countries want to use one currency, others want to use another. But of course, with DLT technology, it's going to be very, very simple. The same source reported that India will likely lead in the settlement of trades in the ACU, which had transactions worth about $28.8 billion in 2021. As of May 2023, India controls nearly 93%, that's huge, of the ACU's credit positions, which provides it with considerable influence in the group. The South Asian country has been ramping up its efforts to develop trade settlement mechanisms in local currencies and partnerships with other nations. These efforts aim to provide greater stability to the global financial system, internationalizing the Indian rupee and minimizing dependence on hard currencies such as the US dollar and the euro. So Again, the BRICS countries looking to find alternative solutions to not have to use the US dollar and, in some cases, even the euro. Another interesting point that I wanted to mention that I think is of importance here that Wrath of Kahneman mentions is that the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan is listed as one of those countries here. So not only is there a connection to Ripple and India, they are, we know, confirmed for a fact, Ripple is creating a CBDC with the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan. So it's going to be interesting to see how, XRP is going to be utilized in this situation with, the Asian Clearing Union wanting to move away from US dollar dominance. We got to think how much trade is going to be settled in these corridors. And, in some cases, they're going to be using the Indian rupee, but probably not exclusively. So there is still going to be need for that DLT technology to, source that liquidity. Helicon here mentioning this, de-dollarization is absurd and being conflated with the de-physical fiatization and moving into digital dollar, if you will. The loss of paper money is giving people growing pains and conspiracy mindsets. The world agrees the dollar is the anchor, love it or hate it. Wrath of Kahneman responding here, yeah, I'm more interested in the effects of the working CBDC in the agreement, especially given Bhutan's dependence on the INR already. So Bhutan is already dependent on the Indian rupee. De-dollarization is a funny narrative, as evidenced by Russia's growing frustration at accumulating INR. So Russia does not want to hold Indian rupee. Again, a good way to settle an argument, a good way to kind of make everybody happy, a nice compromise, if you will. Use DLT technology, settle with a cryptocurrency because we're still going to have our traditional fiat currencies that we're going to need to trade through. And so if you can use the XRP out, for example, leveraging XRP, boom, 3 seconds, you're not susceptible to the volatility of the crypto. And there's many reasons why that is going to be beneficial. So interesting to see Bhutan's connection, already a connection with Ripple and a CBDC. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. Also happen to see this, guys, regarding Ripple partner Airwallex. Global payments firm Airwallex aims to double SPOR headcount by year end. So just some more news with this Ripple-related company. Back in January 2022, their headcount was about 100 employees with plans to boost staff to 200 by the end of the year. And so they're looking to fill roles such as data and software engineers, data scientists, product managers, and project designers with offices around the world, including in Singapore. It helps businesses consolidate different payment methods into a single solution to collect, manage, and pay funds across borders. So this is what Ripple partner Airwallex does. Mr. Lo Sher Hao, the director of SME and growth in Singapore at Airwallex, he said, "We see Singapore as a key market for us. Asia Pacific is where a lot of opportunity to help businesses with payments is present because the payment ecosystem here is very fragmented. This expansion comes amid a surge in financial technology adoption by small and medium-sized enterprises here to save time and costs." Mr. Arnold Chan, Airwallex's general manager for Hong Kong and Southeast Asia, said, "From the start of the year to date, we have seen an over 60% growth in customers and expect this trend to continue in the coming year, especially as we built out our presence here." According to the company's Singapore 2023 survey, businesses here have a cautious economic outlook, with 70% of SMEs bracing themselves for a potential recession within the next 2 years. So, the companies that Airwallex has surveyed, which I'm sure include a lot of their clients, are still, weary of the macroeconomic conditions. Nevertheless, minimizing frictions with payments, updating financial technology, this is going to help these companies expand into more markets. The global economy too, right? 30 years ago, we were only doing business within our local region, and now companies can do business worldwide just because of the technology advancements alone. So all in all, sounds like some pretty good news there for Airwallex. And Matthew LANY here, asking another question, bringing up Crypto Sensei's tweet, okay? Asking an interesting question regarding price fixing of digital assets. He says, "I have a few ideas, but would love to learn more if the community has more knowledge to add. Here is what we discussed." Okay, he says, "Well, I'm not a financial expert, but have been looking into this. One, they can call a G7 or G20 emergency meeting and determine a price like they did with Russian oil caps," okay? Posting this screen grab of a news headline, G7 nations, the EU, Australia, agree on $60 per barrel price cap for Russian oil. So they did this around the time that Russia was trying to change the oil prices. Then Matt says this, okay, the Fed can use the Dodd-Frank Act to determine XRP is systematically important and fix the price. So we know because of the nature of XRP's utility, we know it's going to be used in all this type of global trade. Could the Fed in fact decide to do this? Okay, it goes on to say, or a network needs immediate liquidity because its failure is systematically important. Well, we've heard about Jim Rickards before talk about ICE9. I've done a couple of videos on that. I'll see if I can find one. I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Immediate failure because of a systematic, important emergency. In essence, they can write the rules as they go along. Now, to give you guys a sense of what the Dodd-Frank Act is, if you don't know, also authorizes council to designate a financial market utility, or an FMU, as systematically important if the council determines that the failure or the disruption of the functioning of the FMU could create an increased risk for significant liquidity or credit problems. This came into effect when the banks collapsed in 2008. Okay, essentially a safeguard put in place to bail out the banks. If there's a liquidity risk, they can implement the Dodd-Frank Act. So significant liquidity or credit problems spreading amongst financial institutions or markets and thereby threaten the stability of the U.S. financial system. Designated FMUs will become subject to the heightened prudential and supervisory provisions of Title 8, which promotes robust risk management and safety and soundness, including conducting their operations in compliance with applicable risk management standards, providing advance notice and review the changes of the rules, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's the Dodd-Frank Act in a nutshell. Could the Fed determine XRP is systematically important and fix the price? A good question. Manipulate high-frequency trading for price discovery. Maybe this is the COMEX 589 possibility. Okay, bringing up this paper here from all the way back in November 2013, high-frequency trading and price discovery, guys, from the European Central Bank. And COMEX here, explained by Dark Horse DNME4 on TikTok. Listen to this.
But it's called the COMEX 589 rule, and that's the Commodities Exchange 589 rule. And that is basically an exchange that has just precious metals linked to it. So this is the COMEX Rule 589. It's the special price fluctuation limits that they've got in the gold futures, the E-micro gold futures, the silver futures, and copper, and going down here, platinum and palladium. And this is the actual COMEX 589 rule. It was made on December the 10th, 2014. And what it basically says here is that at the commencement of each trading day, new Rule 589 will require the exchanges to determine new price fluctuations limits as levels above or below the previous day's settlement price. And it's all in here if you want to have a read of it.
Who remembers when Bearable Guy posted about the COMEX rule in one of his Christmas riddles, guys? This, courtesy of Jack the Rippler from a few years ago, November 2020. And just a screen grab here discussing Cobalt, Nostro, liquidity, and COMEX 589. We talked about this as being an alternative interpretation of the 589. A lot of people back at that time just thought it had to do with the XRP price. But guys, I've even done a video about this discussing all the possible meanings of 589, and I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. COMEX was certainly one of them. And so what is COMEX by definition? Okay, COMEX is the primary futures and options market for trading metals such as gold, silver, copper, and aluminum. COMEX is an abbreviation of the exchange's full name, the Commodity Exchange Inc. So COMEX merged with the New York Mercantile Exchange in 1994 and became the platform responsible for its metals trading. So the key takeaways here, just to keep it simple, and I will link all this in the description if you guys want to go over it. COMEX is the world's largest futures and options trading for metal. That is what is really important here. Metals, guys, precious metals. We know XRP is going to be leveraged in many markets, including the precious metals market. It is a division of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Group. Metals futures are mostly used for hedging and are not typically delivered. The COMEX does not supply metals, but instead acts as an intermediary. And so going back to Matt's point here, COMEX 589 possibly, the BIS can authorize XRP holding percentages to central banks based on payment flows. And so here's just another chart, Basel III transition arrangements, 2017 to 2028. And you guys can see here, I'm not going to go over all of it, but you can see here the transitional arrangement refers to minimum requirements and deadlines for implementation. Jurisdictions have the discretion to adopt standards more stringent than the Basel minima and to implement Basel standards before the deadlines. So could the Fed, in fact, utilize XRP, fixing the price in order to prevent a possible emergency, or, if an emergency occurs, to help mitigate it as best possible. Steve-O here saying one beauty of digital assets removing counterparty risk. A central authority fixing price voids one of the most valuable metrics of digital assets by adding counterparty risk. So going against this theory here, fixing price of free market assets means they are no longer free but manipulated. And so he's saying it's never going to happen. But I don't know. Could we see XRP command a higher price because the Fed utilizes the Dodd-Frank Act to their advantage if, in fact, we do see something like ICE9 occur? So an interesting theory here. Wanted to thank Matt for posting that. Things are getting really interesting, guys, I gotta say. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.